This woman is a proper description of a market woman. I mean, she's supposed to be selling ugu in the market. I don't know how she got herself into aviation. And this particular part, please don't cut it out. I'm really serious. She's supposed to be selling ugu in the market. How she found herself in this place is what I don't know. Because she's not deserving to be in hospitality industry. She's not deserving to be in the aviation industry. She has a very shitty behavior. She's very domineering. She's very power drunk. She's very rude and she's very disrespectful, very vindictive. Okay, so my name is Ada, and I am a peaceful, well-meaning Nigerian. I've been on social media space since 2018, and it's important that I give my pedigree because so that it doesn't just look like. And if you go down, down, down to my page, you will see that I've never jumped on trends. I don't like, I don't comment, I just move. I just laugh and I just move. But there was something really dehumanizing about this particular one. When I saw it, I was touched. And the first time I saw that video, I didn't know I could do anything about it. I was just pained, like, oh my God, did it get this bad? You could see somebody that was literally tired from fighting. Now, I don't even surf news. I don't follow any blogs. So I am the last person to even hear gists. And I don't go digging. You know how there's a gist, you now go and follow another account to find out. I don't do it. So when I just sit, I just like, oh my God, what happened? Was it this bad? And then I just moved on. But in 2024, I was on a flight. I was on an Ibom Air flight to Accra from Lagos. And I can remember this experience so vividly because I had just finished from a conference of almost, 10 days. I was literally exhausted. And it was 5 days to my birthday. So I was going to Ghana to go and rest and then probably celebrate my birthday. I was not feeling well on that trip because I was tired. And so it was 10 days of back to back. And this is why that experience, I think this is why I feel the pain afresh, because I'm putting together the emotions that I felt that day and the emotions that I felt when I saw this lady. Yeah. So I get on this flight, and this lady is I get on the Ibom flight. This lady is the purser, which means that she's the first person that she meets. So I need to, when I said that I greeted her and she didn't answer, some other people greeted, she didn't answer, she was busy writing. I had some people, some jokers in the comment section say something like, if you greet her, she didn't answer, you can as well just be going to where you are going to. He's in the hospitality business. So I expect that if you're in the hospitality business, you are there to make my nervous system feel better. You are there to help me literally distress. I will not expect that I will go into let me give an example. I will not expect that in that situation, I will probably maybe go into a filling station and the attendant will make me feel better. I might not even look at her face. But if I'm going into a hotel, I expect that receptionist should say, hello, how are you? Welcome. Good to have you. So when I greet her, it's part of the whole package, yeah? But before I got in, I noticed that there was a bit of I don't know what it was. Because if you know Ibom Air, their flights are usually very tiny. So all of you cannot, get on the flight at once. There has to be like a queue. So the queue was taking too long to move. Of course, she had some arguments with some people, keep your water, keep your flags. I could hear her tone. However, when I got in, maybe a lady that is having a bad day, just, you don't know, maybe she's on a period or something. So I'm like, hi, good afternoon, ma'am. She didn't answer me. I moved and continued my journey. I went to sit down on my seat. And then she finished writing that thing that she's writing, comes to do the head count, and all of that. And then of course, she wasn't even the one who, checked on everyone to put off their phones. But I think she came to do the final round of search. And I don't know why because now I'm even thinking about it. Every time that I fly, it's not usually the purser who does that. A flight attendant just checks and then they trust that everything is fine. But the flight attendant had checked, that's her colleague, and she had come to recheck. So it's either she didn't trust that they do a good job, or she's that domineering to be sure that she is the one that has to do it. Yeah. So she starts from the front. And then amazingly on this flight, we didn't really have young people. I was like one of the youngest. We had older and elderly people. And she's talking to them so disrespectfully, so rudely from the front. Because I wasn't in the middle. I think I was sitting somewhere around 8-ish. So I'm towards the front. So she's talking to these people very rude. Shall mind my business. The guy that this happened to is just by my right wing. I'm on the left wing on the same aisle. So that's why I could get a clear picture of everything that happened. She gets to this guy and she said, turn off your phone. She didn't even say, turn off your phone. She said, put off your phone. And then the guy says, okay. So the guy is still fiddling with the phone. You know how it is. Maybe you are typing a message and then someone says, put your phone. So maybe you want to put the full stop and press send and then off the phone, that kind of thing. And then she goes, do it now. Put it off now. So the guy says, I've heard you, I'll put it off. And she says, I want you to put it off now and give it to me. Let me check. So, and the guy is a Benin guy. So at that point, the guy raised his head and says, shoo, wait till they'll call. Make I give you my phone.
As at
that time, he had turned the phone off. As at that time, he had turned the phone off. As at that time, he had turned the phone off. No, she was rude. You don't even listen to your client. You're listening one way and it's not right. She provoked the guy. She's very rude. Then bring him back. Because what you are doing now is cheating to the guy. You don't even listen to the guy. Yes, you're very rude. You're very rude. She didn't say that. You're very rude.
Ask her what she did.
So if she did not say that,
she came to me first. And
she was very rude.
I understand.
She provoked the guy. She brought the thing out of the guy.
There's a way to talk. She was very rude.
I understand.
She provoked the guy.
But then there are ways to handle it.
Sir, can I tell you something? She's in the service business. She's the one that's supposed to explain to the guy. It's not the guy that should explain to her.
I have to do a PA. You know I made a PA.
You don't have to take it. It's not fair. We are all witnesses. We are all witnesses.
Can I shock you? Can I tell you? You see that time she came to meet me? You see when she came to meet you?
When she came, the first time she came, we stopped and I made a PA. I made a PA. And then the second time,
he had done this off then.
She made another PA. I said no.
I paid money to invest.
He had turned it off then.
And then I sent her back again.
So let me tell you what happened. When she came to meet him, and she was insisting, the guy turned it off. But the way she was talking, the guy wanted to stress her because he had turned it off.
Exactly.
But then, no, you don't talk to your client, to your talk better.
You know it will be resolved, but everybody needs to sit down when they have to move
and testify what is happening.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
It's not fair. You started with me. It's not fair. The guy has to come back.
Where is the guy? I don't know.
We should go and say
It was at that time that we really now started looking at both of them, because at first it didn't concern us. Like it was it was when the guy said, "Shoo, which one be make I give you my phone now?" I tell you, okay. And then she says, no, that the guy has to give. Because the problem now was not even that she even told the guy. First is that she told the guy to put up the phone. The way she said it. Then she told the guy, do it now. You don't speak to an adult like that. You say, put off your phone. There's a left wing, which means I am on the left wing and then I have a seatmate. Why didn't you just talk to me and the guy? Maybe turn to me and say, ma'am, would you please put off your phone? Then turn to the guy back and say, sir, have you put off your phone? But you tell the guy, put off your phone, and say, do it now. Even your child that you give birth to at home, after a while, if you speak to that child like that, they are not going to listen to you. And guess what? That time that she was doing that, put off your phone, and the guy said, shoo, he had actually turned off the phone. But the bone of contention now was that he was refusing to give her the phone to inspect. And I've never heard it in my whole life. Because come to think about it, if I had like a hand luggage and I had my phone inside my hand luggage and I put it up, are you going to inspect my phone, my bag, to see if my phone was turned on inside my hand luggage or inside my handbag? The guy says, I don't offer. She said no, that the guy. So the main bone of contention in that place was that she said that the guy should give her the phone to inspect, and the guy said he was not going to give it to her. And that was where the problem started. And then she says, if you don't give me the phone, this flight is not going to move. I'm going to take this flight back to Lagos until you give me the phone. At that time, all of us even busted out laughter. If you see one of the videos I posted that was even long, you will just see all of us reeling out in laughter because we just look like, hey, you know what Yoruba will say, what is going on here? So at that point, all of us busted out in laughter, and we had a lot of Benin people on that flight. They were like, shoot, because of phone, we're not going to come travel again. And she said, yes, that my brother is sending me a message that well done for that post. Yes, that was on a lighter note. So, and she says, yes, that she'll turn the flight. Wow. Now, the guy had turned off the phone, but the guy refused to give it to her to inspect. And then the guy tells her, oh, yeah, now do what you want to do. I think, yes, the guy said something in that light, like, talk. Now you sabi now. You know, that kind of thing. And then she moves straight to the cockpit. Yes, she moves straight to the pilot. I don't know what she told him, but then the pilot makes an announcement and says, there's a rebel in this flight who want you to comply, all those, this thing. And then she comes back to the guy, hands akimbo, and says, can I see the phone now? And the guy says, madam, I know they give you my phone to inspect. I don't offer, I don't offer. Now, at that point, because if the guy didn't turn off his phone, I want to assure you that I would have been part of the people that would have told the guy, just turn it off now, let us go. But I am putting myself in the guy's shoe. I will not give you my phone to inspect for no particular reason. If you say I should turn it off, I want you to trust that I've turned it off because you are not seeing me pressing it again, right? You say I should turn it off. I've agreed. I put it inside my bag because that's usually the normal practice. They say turn it off. You say okay. You probably put it inside your handbag, put it inside you something. Or I've never heard that somebody said that they want to inspect the phone. And then we're there, and then she puts her hands again, and she's like, "This flight is not going anywhere until you give me that phone." Ha! So at this point, everybody's like, "Ha, madam, leave the guy now. The guy saying don't off his phone. The guy say he has turned it off. Leave him alone. Leave him alone." And she says, "No, that has to give him the phone." The guy said he's not giving her his phone, and that was where matter started. Before you know, she now went back to the pilot. I don't know what she told the pilot, and then the next announcement we heard was, we're taking this flight back to Lagos because there is all those the aviation language, but that whether I say there's a threat on this flight or there's something on this flight or Wow. The video is on my page. You will see how that the guy quietly stood up and left because he didn't even argue with her. He didn't put off a fight with her. The moment the guy saw from window that he had already brought out his bag, he just stood up, carried his hand luggage and moved. He didn't say a word to her or anyone. That's like the calmest de-escalation I've seen. The guy did not say a word to her. And if you look at the guy's passport here, the guy has a passport that has expired, that has finished, and so he attached another one. So you can see that the guy is well-traveled. The guy carries his bag and, So while the pilot was, taking the flight back to Lagos, because, okay, so I can still, we're still in Lagos. We're still on the runway, though. But, we had gone far. Because the runway is not so close. So we had gone far from where we should start taking off. So he had to slow back the aircraft and then bring it back to the point where we had, entered in from. And then before we got there, what even made me is that by the time we got there, she had riled everybody up. She had the securities that came in. You would think that it was Boko Haram on that flight. There were over 50. She was calling all the set of security in the airports. And then she was calling the guy's seat number and saying he should bring out his bag and make it. Before they arrived, the security was already on ground. They brought her. So even the security were surprised at the calmness of the guy, because I think they were expecting a fight. So when they came, the guy says, "Can I have my bag?" They didn't believe it. They were like, are you the owner of the bag? And the guy says, yes. And the guy just, So at that point, we're already very pissed, because when the security guy came, the pilot came, they just said the guy should alight. Nobody asked what happened. Nobody wanted to hear our part of the story. He was her word against our word. And then she was just, have you seen two people living in face me, I face you, when they are trying to make a fight? You know how they are just doing, one person is human, one person is doing, she was just doing a lot of all of that. And we're already very irritated and upset. And so we're asking her, really? You brought back this aircraft because of this? And do you know that this thing she did to this Comfort, right? To Miss Comfort, that she held her. For us, she didn't literally hold the aircraft with her hand. But the aircraft was parked for over an hour for security to come, and the door was not opened. When we came back, the aircraft was parked for over an hour for her to finish massaging all her ego, because she wanted a certain kind of formation. From what I observed, she wanted it to look very serious. She wanted a certain kind of security, a certain kind of escort, a certain kind of, do you understand? So when she was making all those calls and all of that, that aircraft was closed for over an hour. It was then we had started murmuring. So that video that you saw was at the point where they opened the aircraft and the guy went out. So we also stepped out and we are asking the pilot, is everything okay? Like, really? Like, you people kept us here for over an hour? Nobody even said anything. You didn't say anything to us? Do we look like animals? You didn't explain anything to us? But you could see her gloating. She's like, I told you people. Anyways, they finished that drama, get on the aircraft. Now, let me even now shock you. Do you know when I was doing a video, this woman kept eyeing me, and then one of our colleagues said to me that they do too much. Let's say now you then get problem with. So meaning that my doing the video was doing too much, because it was not me that they had an issue with. And this is the same thing that, I've seen some people talk about this miscomfort, and it's true. Injustice to one should be injustice to every other person. How were you on that flight and that amount of injustice was meted out to that person? Not one person has a video, not one person spoke up for her. When we were traveling, we didn't even have this quantity and amount of injustice meted out to that guy. But I personally, because if you see that video, my voice was like the loudest. I was very irritated. I think I started talking in the aircraft before everybody started talking. I was like, are you people really going to sit down and watch this happen? How? Then we finish all of that. We get back on the aircraft and we're going.
Wow.
And then she comes back and makes an announcement. You are obligated to do whatever instruction is given to you. If not, we will evacuate you down. And then the pilot too goes, it's in your best interest to obey the and whatever they say, because if failure to do so means that we're going to evacuate you and you're a threat to Yeah, they disembarked the guy, and then we went back into the aircraft, and then come and see threat issue, And then she's issuing threats, the pilot is issuing threats. I just was asking myself, what's the relationship between this? How did a air hostess command? And guess what? There were like 5 air hostess on that flight, or 3 or 4. She was the only one talking. The other ones were behaving like their mouths were sealed. They couldn't even talk where she was talking. She gives the final instruction. If she says this happened, they couldn't even talk when she was talking. I know she's probably their senior, but that's too domineering for your colleague. We get back into the aircraft and they start to issue threats. Anyways, when we're not alighting, I think the pilot has put himself in a mood to fly, all of that. He has tried to ease himself and all of that. So he now said something like, "Oh, we're very sorry for everything that's happened and all of that. Da, 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 da. Welcome to Accra, Ghana. We hope that we'll serve you better." This lady looked at us and had a deep sigh and eyed us and muttered something under her breath. I'm very sure that was insult because it wasn't just, she kept muttering the thing. This woman is a proper description of a market woman. I mean, she's supposed to be selling ugu in the market. I don't know how she got herself into her vision. And this particular part, please don't cut it out. I'm really serious. She's supposed to be selling ugu in the market. How she found herself in this place is what I don't know. Because she's not deserving to be in hospitality industry. She's not deserving to be in the aviation industry. She has a very shitty behavior. She's very domineering. She's very power drunk. She's very rude and she's very disrespectful, very vindictive. So I'm not the special advisor to the government on aviation matters. And so I'm not going to just go ahead to just say, I'm advising the government. No, I'm going to stay within my jurisdiction and my pay grade. And that is part of my right as a Nigerian, right? So I'm going to stay there. And it is stating my observation and what I think, right? Not literally advice. Because I know that there's someone whose office is. All right, so I really think that just like every other sector in Nigeria, we truly can do better. We truly, truly can do better. A lot of our leaders have affiliation with nations all around the world. We go and see how things are done fairly and justly, very orderly, right? For starters, how did we come to that judgment where under 24 hours she was already remanded in Kirikiri prison? Truly, how? Is that what our constitution says? I think that was so hasty. So I'm not sure, is it to prove a point? Is it also power tussle? Is it whatever it is? And like, if you look at all my posts I've been talking about, amazingly, I've not even made so much reference to Miss Comfort. Not because I'm not on her side. Not because I don't feel pity for what was done to her. But I don't want to move goalposts. What is my goalpost? My goalpost is to say that this woman in question is not completely as innocent as they have painted her to be from the narrative they've churned out. I have experienced her firsthand. I want to share my story, and you will notice that after I shared my story, many other people were sharing their story about their experience with her. What this will do is give a balanced perspective to judgment. And that's why you will notice that I'm really not talking about Miss Comfort. I'm very bothered about her, but I'm not here to say what she did or what she didn't do because I'm not the judge. I'm not the presiding judge over that. There are binding rules for everything, right? For actions and inactions and consequences. But my own is there should be balanced judgment and perspective. Was she heard from? Really? If she was heard from, were other people heard from? Where were the witnesses? What parameters were used to judge this? So my goal in all of this, and that's why when people come to say, did she do the right thing? Did she slap? I say people should not change the goalpost in my comment section. The goalpost for me now, I'm not talking about, and that's why I'm focusing on this woman. I'm focusing on my story that is authentic because that's what I know. So if I'm not going to sell a story to me that I don't know and push it down my throat, and then somebody will say, were you there? This one I've experienced her, and I've been able to, by my story and with my voice, encourage other people who have also experienced her to come and talk. So it means that she's not completely as innocent as she is putting out. She's not completely innocent as the media has made it to be. So can we honestly do things? I think the thing I would want to say is, can we be humans? And by human, I mean HUMAN and HUMANE. Because if we're humans and we're humane, There are things that would not happen. There are things that would. This girl was stripped naked. But the best we can do is to send her to prison. Because, of course, the person or the organization or whatever it is she got entangled with is a big name in quotes, right? Can fairness just be our mantra? Like I said, it's not in my place to advise. But these are my observations from everything that's happened. Now, did you notice that from today, perspective changed after everyone started sharing this woman's story? And the moment I started this projection, did you notice that perspective changed? This was the perspective that should have happened from the very start. Miss Comfort is not a mad woman. If she was a mad woman, she wouldn't have boarded the flight in the first place. There will have been traces to see that she was suffering from schizophrenia. She's a well put together young lady from the beginning of the video. Dressed nicely, who entered. So something happened. What was that thing? How come we're not seeing the thing? At the end of the day, she can be judged wrong. And she can still be remanded at the end of the day. But can we see the judgment that it was fair? Can we see the parameters that were used for this judgment? Can we treat her like she's human and hear from her? Because guess what? We're treating her like she's an animal. Do you know what I'm talking? Is that it can be anyone. It could have been you. It could have been me. It could have been me. It could have been anybody on that flight. So when we fold our hands and think that, it doesn't have to do with me, it's not that. Remember that you don't sow where you reap, you sow what you reap. And then when I saw that this woman have experienced that, I knew that I couldn't have ever kept quiet. I had the option of keeping quiet. I say, because many things were at stake. Oh, do you know the amount of insults I've received today? Do you know the amount of people I've blocked today? And it has not stopped. It has not stopped. Because, of course, it looks like I'm against the airline. It looks like I'm against the woman. So they have their supporters and they're going to have their parties, right? You don't expect them not to come for me, right? Okay, so I've blocked, I have responded to some, the ones I can respond at. So when I was going out, it was not a hasty decision. I actually calmed down to think about it. I was like, what's the worst case scenario? What is the worst case scenario that can actually happen? What I'm saying, is it a lie? No. So what's the worst case scenario? I'm going to do this. I'm not going to keep quiet. I'm going to do this. Can we be more human and humans? I'm an entrepreneur. I sell perfume. My business page is everything perfume. So like today now, I'm supposed to be creating content for my business. I'm doing Ibom Air.